I am pleased to be able to join with my colleagues in discussing an important issue that there should be no divide on, and that is, can we move quickly for the expedited screening for our military service members? There's not one of us that have gone through America's airports and not felt a sense of pride, not boastful pride, but pride of respect as we watch men and women of the United States military leave for their overseas post or come home to warm and welcoming families. It equally reminds us of those that have gone and that were not able to come home. So I'm pleased that TSA and the Department of Defense are joining us to discuss how the federal government can continue to make significant contributions to improve the lives of the men and women who serve and protect the United States of America. I've long championed intergovernmental collaboration, and I'm pleased that today we will receive testimony about efforts underway to strengthen collaboration between DoD and DHS to support our servicemen and women. While it is important to pay tribute to those who serve in the military, our actions must also honor their sacrifice. Just as an aside, Mr. Chairman, just almost a year ago, I passed legislation that had 419 votes to 0 that would welcome home, collaborate with our local communities to welcome home our returning combat veterans. We still have the opportunity to do that. We cannot waver on the front to ensure that our actions speak louder than our words. Today, I look forward to our dialogue regarding ways we can support our heroes by providing small but necessary accommodations to our service members and veterans as they pass through our nation's airports. It is also important to recognize TSA for its contributions to assisting our veterans. For example, Administrator Pistol worked with the Honor Flight Network, which is a system established to enable our veterans the opportunity to visit the nation's capital, to tour their memorials, to ensure their screening was conducted in a dignified manner. We also know that many of our TSO officers, many of our supervisors, many of our heads of our various airports under TSA are in fact returning veterans or those who actively served just recently. Further, TSA has initiated the Wounded Warrior Program, which includes modified screening policies at the airport checkpoint to ensure that military personnel and veterans who are wounded when they answer their country's call to duty are screened with the dignity and respect they deserve. Finally, I would be remiss if I failed to mention that veterans comprise about 1/4 of the TSA workforce. As I indicated earlier, at our hearing yesterday, we heard from the other side of the aisle regarding their desire to cut the workforce by some 30%. According to Mr. McLaughlin's testimony, TSA employs over 10,000 veterans. And one of the witnesses indicated that he was prepared to accept the leadership of the men and women on the ground, including Administrator Pistol, in the use of the manpower and womanpower that they have. We all commit to it being efficient and, of course, effective. I would encourage my colleagues on the other side of the aisle to be mindful that a cut of 30% to the TSA workforce will result in 3,000 veterans who answered the call to duty following 9/11 being back on the streets looking for work. I hope that TSA's implementation of these policies for the military and veterans signals its willingness to move forward toward the kind of common-sense screening practices that Democratic members of the committee have long called for. I remain convinced that TSA can also institute screening practices that ensure the respectful treatment of all passengers. We've recently, of course, addressed the question of seniors and children under 12, but all treatment of passengers with disabilities without compromising security. I commend Administrator Pistol and his administration for these efforts to re-examine screening protocols. As such, I would like to take this opportunity, Mr. Chairman, to just mention 10 positive changes initiated by TSA at our checkpoints that have been enhanced by Administrator Pistol and the workforce of men and women committed to serving their country. Screening modifications for children under the age of 12, which ensures several non-intrusive steps are taken by TSOs by screening children at the checkpoint Number 2, screening modifications for the elderly that allow TSO to respectfully screen the elderly, particularly those who may rely on mobility devices such as wheelchairs and walkers. Number 3, screening modifications for passengers with certain medical conditions. This process allows passengers to communicate a sensitive medical condition that should be considered by TSO during the screening process. Number 4, the establishment and expansion of expedited screening service known as PreCheck for passengers who voluntarily undergo a background check administered by DHS, like our chairman. TSA, number 5, TSA has also implemented a risk-based screening initiative known as Known Crew Member Program, designed to serve pilots upon verification of employment with an expedited screening and allowing TSOs to place greater emphasis on the unknown threats at the checkpoints, and we look forward to flight crew having that ability. 6, modified screening procedures for military members traveling in uniform that honor our U.S. military personnel by allowing them to undergo flexible screening. We're here today to make sure that works. TSA, number 7, TSA has integrated the use of pre-check lanes by active military personnel when they are not in uniform. Number 8, TSA, in partnership with DoD, has instituted a Wounded Warrior program where severely injured service member, family member, or other representatives can contact the federal government and obtain assistance. Number 9, TSA has reduced screening requirements for honor flight networks. Number 10, TSA continues to work on developing and deploying non-intrusive technology. So as our veterans from Iraq and Afghanistan return home, let's work together to ensure that they truly have a welcome face, a welcome nation, and a welcome respect for their service as they travel through the nation's airports. With that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.